usually wins. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Speaking of a guy with lots of technique, Dominick Cruz.
Dominick Cruz, last point for the end of this.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get it in. So, Dominick Cruz, I mean, how dare they? How dare they put that man on the prelims after everything that he's done for the UFC and his story is the stuff of legends, coming back from not one, but two ACL
You're
injuries.
always fucking burping on the podcast.
Sorry. Yeah, so there's sodium carbonated beverages. You know, they just they get me fired up a little bit, but sometimes a little bit too much. Part
As
of
long
me.
as it's not coming out the other end. As long as you're not shitting yourself on the podcast.
And just like you gotta count down on the podcast. Like, gotta clear it up. Just gotta go take a shit.
Yep.
Dominick Cruz, he came back. He's done so much work for the company. You know, he's an expert analyst. You know, I love it when he talks shit with Michael Bisping. And, you know, he's got that, he's known for being the guy with the most phenomenal footwork in the UFC.
100%.
Right, and he's so slick with his boxing. He's so slick with his movements, his ability to sidestep around his opponents and jump in and out of danger, no problem. And he's always taking those risks. He always likes to let his hands loose and all that, you know, trying to feint and throw his opponent off. You know, he's just...
Weird that he's on the prelims, though. Weird.
Well, if you think
Perhaps
about
the dance
I think
partner.
it's just because he has been inactive since... Well, the last time Dominick Cruz fought was against Harry Cejudo.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Prior
last year.
to that, he fought Cody Garbrandt, but that was 4 years prior in 2016.
Yeah.
You know, and I like to mention that, you know, he's always had an issue with injuries.
Yeah.
Always had issues. And although he's been the champion, a lot of his wins have been very spread apart because he's been dealing with injuries. But whenever he has came back to the UFC to, you know, defend his title, he's fought the who's who, he's fought the best of the best. I mean, I'd like to remind everyone that, you know, prior to fighting Cody Garbrandt, he was on a 12-fight win streak. Like, that's insane in the bantamweight division. With everyone so fast, with all these young up-and-comers, he's constantly been so good on the feet. You know, his last win was against Uriah Faber back in 2016. Again, not the same Uriah Faber. However, I think following beating Uriah Faber the second time, 2 out of their 3 fights he's won against Uriah Faber. But he then lost to Cody Garbrandt. That was, you know, it was I wouldn't say that close a fight. I think Cody danced around.
Yeah, Cody kind of he was in the zone that night. That was probably Cody at his best.
Cody's best.
He was breakdancing. He was confident. He was slick. He was dodging punches. He knocked down Dominic like 2-3 times and told him to get back up so he could knock him down again. Just, you know, like in UFC, when you're in the MMA world, like you have some fights where you get some fighters where they have some night where they're the shit. They're the shit. Everything's perfect. They're on perfect. They have that perfect night, and then there's days where they're just not it. Their head's not there. Their body can't wake up, or they're sick of the weight cut, or they're just scared from the injury, or they're scared because from the last loss that they had. You know, it makes total sense, and I understand that's the fight game. However, I do believe that Dominick Cruz is going to come in with this fight with something to prove, because he was so pissed off at the last fight against Henry Cejudo.
He still hates Keith Peterson, to be honest.
Yeah, imagine if that's his ref.
He was already requested he's requested the commission that he does not have Keith Peterson in his ring, in his octagon. You've got Herb Dean, maybe you got Herzog or something like that.
Yeah, Mark Smith, Josh and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by the way, what's his name? You remember the dude with the giant beard, mustache?
Yes.
Can he ref now?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Nah, he's still...
They told him it was an issue with his mustache with COVID and all that, and said to shave it, and he said, "No, go fuck yourself." So that he's not reffing.
And then he whipped his mustache over his neck and just fucked off.
Yeah, he could obviously bitch slap people with those
he probably could
nostril
choke
hairs.
with that mustache.
It even connects with his nostril. That's nasty. Anyway, coming back to Dominick Cruz versus Casey Kenney. Interesting matchup because Casey Kenney is definitely a new up-and-comer in the bantamweight division.
He's only lost twice.
He's only lost twice, but I do want to say I think he's lost 3 times. His last fight against Nathaniel Wood on the UFC, I think he fought on the UFC 254 card.
Yeah.
He fought Nathaniel Wood. We definitely thought Nathaniel Wood won that fight.
Yeah.
It was close. Not that close.
Yeah.
I think they were sleeping. I think Casey Kenney, although he's very good, I think he's very durable. I think he got in a lot of really good strikes in. Nathaniel Wood beat him. I really think that, and I don't know, a lot of people might have said, is it perhaps an English fighter in an American organization in America? Do you think maybe, they played it to the American? I think it was a close fight. Not that close. I think Casey lost that fight. I think Nathaniel Wood definitely beat him at UFC 254. Having said that, Casey Kenney, very good kickboxer. Durable guy. Sometimes he's not the most dynamic on the feet. He's a little bit more flat-footed. But his leg kicks are really great as well. And boxing, very crisp boxing. So interesting fight here because he doesn't have the most dynamic movement, yet Dominick Cruz is one of the best in terms of movement.
So you got a case of the new upcomer versus the seasoned veteran. That's literally what we could put the headline for this card.
Yeah, and Dominick Cruz is an ex-UFC champion, yet Casey Kenney is an ex-double champion from LFA. So he was a champion at flyweight and bantamweight. So not gonna say, I did bring up that Casey I think lost to Nathaniel Wood. Although Nathaniel Wood, I think, he was from Cage Warriors. I think. So not exactly a slouch coming from the European circuit either. Very interesting to see how good a older Dominick Cruz is post injuries.
Yeah.
Very interesting because he's taken a bit of time off. Just looking at how old he is now.
He's 35.
35. Not the worst in terms of age.
No.
Not,
Considering that Anderson Silva started his run in the UFC at the age of 31 or 32? 32. There you go. Yeah. And some guys can fight, we've seen some guys fight well into their 40s.
Daniel Cormier, 41, when he fought Stipe. Stipe's 38, maybe 39 now.
Yeah. Teixeira is 40 as well.
Yeah, Teixeira's 40 flat, I think. So it's not the worst age in terms of...
Yeah.
However, when we bring that up, a lot of these ones that are older and doing well, light heavyweight division, middleweight division.
Yeah.
These guys are slower. These are all slower, heavier people where they don't have as amazing cardio as these really fast, fast twitch fiber, very dynamic fighters in flyweight and bantamweight that throw a shit ton of volume. Do I think Dominick Cruz is that old that it's going to be an issue? No, I don't think it is. It'll be interesting just to see what kind of Dominick Cruz comes out that time. I do think Cruz beats Kenney, though. I think he beats Kenney. I think Kenny's really good. Close fight, though.
Yeah,
I still think it's going to be close. I think it'll be a decision.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a decision
by Cruz.
Or third round knockout. I reckon a third round TKO from Dominick Cruz.
I don't see a KO happening. Though Dominick's not one for KOing people anymore.
Yeah,
I think
not
it's
anymore, but
he's being nicknamed the Decisionator instead of the Dominator. So
really?
And Cruz isn't one for having massive knockout power or anything like that. It was his very unorthodox rolling movement on his feet that kind of set up really interesting strikes that kind of put a lot of people on the back foot. So I think Nathaniel Wood, again, what I always come back to the Nathaniel Wood fight was he was very dynamic against Casey Kenney. He was moving around a little bit more while Kenney was, that very strict Muay Thai kind of style. A little bit more flat-footed, I would say. So I think it's going to go very similar. I think Cruz, if he pulls on a lot of volume quite early on and puts a lot of pressure on Kenney on the back foot, I think Cruz will freeze him with his movement. I think Cruz will win by decision. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so just finishing up. So we're doing 2 podcasts today. One's going to be an MMA podcast. One's going to be a non-MMA. Non-MMA, we're going to grab,
there's a couple of points that we're still going to include.
There's a lot of stuff we want to go into. A lot of stuff going on in the film world and a lot of really cool TV shows that we want to speak about. But that's everything for the MMA stuff.
Yep,
So thank you so much for listening to the combat sports kind of section of our podcast. Hope you really enjoy it. Make sure you stay tuned for UFC 259. And really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Catch up. Bye.